Hi guys, we're going to do section 9.3 called areas of trapezoids today. If you notice, we have the quadrilateral trapezoid. The trapezoid is a quadrilateral with one set of parallel lines. Now, yesterday we talked about how to find the area of a parallelogram. Remember, a parallelogram is a shape that has two sets of parallel lines. Well, take a look at this. We have our quadrilateral here. If we flip it upside down, see where the dotted lines are? We can actually form a parallelogram. This is how we get our equation to find the area of a trapezoid. If you notice, we've got base times our height here, which is the area of our parallelogram. And to get our base, we actually have to add together, here's the long section called B2, and here's the short little section called B1. That's why we have to add B1 plus B2 to get the whole side of the base. Now, if you notice at the picture here, our trapezoid here is half the shape of our parallelogram. So that's why we have the half here. So our official equation for finding the area of a trapezoid is area equals half the base, where we add base 1 plus base 2 together, times the height. Now, some kids, the fraction scares them, so they like to think of the equation as base 1 plus base 2 times the height, then divide it by 2. It's either one what you're more comfortable with, but this is the traditional equation for area of a trapezoid. Okay, so now that we know how we got the equation for area of a trapezoid, let's go ahead and learn how to use it. So I've got some examples here. Okay, so look at example number 1. We're going to put in all our numbers here into our equation. So our equation for area again is area equals half base 1 plus base 2 times the height. So let's plug our numbers in. Our base, here's our 1/2. Our base 1, doesn't matter if you use the 7 or the 15. We're just going to plug them in here. Doesn't matter the order. And then our height. Our height we know has to be 9 because the rule, remember when we worked with triangles, our height always had to be perpendicular to the base. So that's why I knew 9 had to be it. Now we're just going to go ahead and do our math. I am running out of room here. I can't go below, so I'm going to go beside. So I've got 1/2. Add together 7 plus 15, and I get 22, and then times 9. Well, then what is half of 22? That would be 11, and then times my 9 to give me the final area of 99. Now, we don't have any units put onto this, but we know because we're doing area, my answer always has to be units squared. In your homework assignment, they'll give you inches or feet, so you'll insert that here for units, but we always have to use the square symbol because we're dealing with area. Let's skip number 2. You can practice this at home. Let's look at number 3. Number 3 is the same equation, but it looks a little different. Our shape does because our height is on the right side. It's not in between here, but we know this has to be our height because it is perpendicular to the base. So let's put it into the equation. Area equals 1/2 my base 1 plus my base 2 times the height, which we said was 3. So half, 8 plus 10 is 18, times 3, see if I can squeeze it in here. I get half of 18 is 9, times 3, 3 times 9 is 27, and again it would be units squared. Take a look at number 4 here. Okay, number 4 is the same thing as 3, but it's tipped up on its end. We know 6 has to be our height because it's perpendicular to one of the bases. So once again, we put it in our equation. Area equals 1/2 base 1, which is 15, plus base 2, which is 39, times our height. So, adding our bases together, big numbers here, but that adds up to 54, and height is 6. Now, you can do taking half of any number. Here, it's easier to take half of 6, so half of 6 is 3, and then I got 3 times 54, which gives me 162, and it'll be units squared again. Now, 5 and 6 here in our examples, which you'll see in your notes too, are a little bit different. They're not asking us to find the area. They're asking us to find the height. How do I find the height? We're going to use our equation again. Our equation tells us everything we need to know. So we're going to plug in the information. So again, our equation is area equals 1/2 base 1 plus base 2 times the height. So let's see, what did they give us? Reading the problem, it says find the height of a trapezoid if the bases are 16 and 10. So there we go. They've given us our bases. So I've got 16 plus 10. Now I am trying to find the height. Hopefully they've given us our area because I can't have two missing variables. Let's keep reading. And it says our bases are 16 and 10, and the area is 91 inches squared. So there's our area. Now we're going to do our math. So 91 just sits over here for a minute. Let's add together 16 plus 10, and I get 26. Now, what is half of 26? That would be 13h. Now, what do I do? Remember, when we solve equations, my whole goal is to get h all by itself. And to do that, I have to take the opposite. So 13 times h, that's what it means because they're stuck together, side by side. What is the opposite of multiplication? It's division. So I'm going to divide this side by 13 and this side by 13. My 13s cancel out, and guess what I'm left with over here? I'm left with h. Now I'm just going to do the division. What is 91 divided by 13? 91 divided by 13 is 7. Now I've got to make sure I include the units because it's given it to me. So I know my height is 7 inches. It's not squared because I'm just trying to find the height. Let's do this one more here. Let's do the bottom. So our equation again is area equals 1/2 base 1 plus base 2 times the height. They give me information right here. The area is 39. Half is part of the equation. It stays there. Base 1 is 8 and base 2 is 5. I'm trying to find the height again. So 8 plus 5 is 13. I'm going to take half of 13. It's okay. It'll be a decimal, not a problem, and I'll get 6.5h. Now, how do I get rid of this attached here? Remember, I got to do the opposite. So this is multiplication. So I'm going to divide both sides by 6.5. Remember the rule, what I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So now those cancel out, giving me my h for height. And now I'm going to do the math. 39 divided by 6.6 gives me the answer. Sorry, not 6.6. How about 6.5? 39 divided by 6.5 is 6. And because I'm dealing with measurements, I need to look, what unit am I working in? I'm working in centimeters, so I need to attach that. Well, I hope that makes sense to you. If you have any questions, go ahead and post them on Google Classroom or email me. I'm here to help you. Have a good day.